Inside my freezer, I have a Yeti, abominable snowman. And I acquired him when I was living in Misawa, Japan. It's very far up north and cold, frigid cold. It's such a wet cold up there. It's surprising to a lot of people, I think, when I talk about how cold Japan is. Because it was also as equally hot in the summer, kind of like severe weather that can, be in our United States here. So anyways, I used to talk with my son about it because we would open up the freezer and let the Yeti out and make sure that he got time outside in the snow and make sure that we had enough popsicles for him to eat in there. And then at night, we would tuck him in and make sure he was happy and healthy. And he was such a great guy. He did continue on with us when we came back to America. I was really surprised he didn't want to stay there, but he followed us still. And he went with us back to the Midwest where we were there. And when we left the Midwest, we went for a brief time to Texas. Now, this was during the summer. And I was very concerned for him because I didn't want him to get sick. So I knew for a fact that I didn't want to tell him we were in Texas because I thought that would make him uncomfortable. And the other part of this had to do with the fact that I didn't want him thinking he could go outside like how he used to when we were in Japan. He'd gotten in that habit, So I thought I'll just tell him he has to remain indoors for this period of time because it won't be very long. And, we didn't know where we were going after Texas. So I was half thinking, gosh, if we went back to California or if we were on the East Coast, something, we'd have a space for him to go at night and have his outdoor times. Well, that wasn't to be the case. Instead, we were to end up in the Southwest, and we've been here for 5 years. Now, we're in not the high desert, okay, which is where we used to be, which is in Albuquerque. This time in the Southwest, we are in Saguaro country, Tucson, Arizona. Well, for 5 years now that we have been here, successfully, I have been able to maintain his housing there, up in the freezer, and it's been fine. Yesterday, however, I think what I saw was that he had gotten out and upon returning had, of course, melted so much of the snow in his fur that there was a puddle, an absolute puddle, at the bottom of my refrigerator. And I think, these tracks of this water puddle were before he was able to jump up back into the freezer and take care of himself. So the way that I knew this happened is, of course, what? I wake up and I see this puddle on the floor. And I open up the freezer and I'm looking for him. And I was asking him, hey, what's going on? Did you get outside? And as soon as I tried to hear any kind of an answer, the ice machine, pushed out a couple more of the ice cubes. So I couldn't hear him answer. And I think he was kind of feeling maybe a little shy that he had done something. And I was not going to tell him he'd done something wrong. I wasn't going to say it was naughty. I was going to tell him, please keep yourself safe. Yes, the mountain cold is really bad here in our desert, but you will be too hot and it will make you sick. So I know that I'm going to be going out of town, and I thought, how am I going to get somebody to watch my house for me and explain this situation to whoever's watching, they're not accustomed to an abominable snowman. They don't know anything about the Yeti. They don't know anything about Yeti culture or care, and I really can't explain it to him. So what I thought I could do is instead call up a repairman and pretend that it might be broken. Now, I know the thing's not broken. I have a perfectly fine refrigerator. But I'll tell him, that I found this puddle, and then that way, when he tinkers around with it and pretends like he fixed it, and I pay him for him doing nothing, I guess, really, except providing me the opportunity to tell my friend, well, no, I had it fixed and it should be fine, so that when he wakes up and sees it, and there's the puddle, that he'll say to me, oh, I think you need to call your repairman back to your refrigerator because I think it's leaking. And I'll say, no, it's fine. It's just my Yeti.